Today we're going to look into the wonderful world of color-coded pages offered through BQ Powers and look at them a little bit to help us understand what all of the colors and symbols mean. This is true across all divisions, but for the example we're using today, we're going to look at a junior large print color-coded page, and we're going to look at page 7. At the bottom of every color-coded page you get, you're going to see the key down here at the bottom. So we're going to work off of that today to help us understand it all. First thing you see is unique beginning, and quotation completion is what QC stands for right here. And if you look at a verse, you'll see that these words are bold, underlined, and a nice little slash right here. He lodgeth. That means that that is a unique beginning for all of the junior material. That's the only verse that starts with those two words. Up here, it's he saw and a slash. So you know that verse is the only one that starts with he saw in all the material. The next thing that you'll find is a one-time word, and that's in blue. Blue font right here, Tanner, Memorial, Centurion. That means that that is the only time in all of the scriptures that they've learned for this year that centurion is mentioned. To help that verse stand out, to help them get to that verse quicker, to help them identify that verse in a question. And also they have two-time words down here mentioned in a green font. So if you look at the word afraid, that's in a green font. So that means, hey, that's a two-time word. And next to it, you're going to find these little numbers, and it's a reference. You guessed it. It's Acts chapter 9, verse 26. And a little arrow or greater than less than sign. Down here, they're explaining if it's pointing to the left, it means prior. If it's pointing to the right, it means following. So since we're already in Acts chapter 10, verse 4 at this point, when we find the word afraid, and the reference being Acts chapter 9, verse 26, that's actually earlier in the material. It's prior. So the arrow is pointing that way. If you look at this word up here, band, and the reference next to it, it's got arrows pointing both ways. That's just to let you know that, hey, this is actually both in the same verse, Acts chapter 10, verse 1. Okay, and if you look at Joppa right here, this one is mentioned later since the arrow is pointing to the right. We're in Acts chapter 10, verse 5. And they're saying the other reference for Joppa is Acts chapter 10, verse 8. So we're going to scroll down here. There it is. There's Acts chapter 10, verse 8 and Joppa. You see that teeny tiny E right there? All that means is that Joppa ends this verse. So the next thing we have on here is a blue highlight for some animals. Look down here. There's some animals. Beasts and fowls. So if there's a question talking about what animals are mentioned in Acts chapter 10, verse 12, they know right away it's beasts and fowls are in that verse. The same thing with body parts. These are in a red highlight, kind of reddish pinkish. Through here, eyes, hands, hand. So if they're having a similar kind of question, what body part is mentioned, they'll know right away. Acts chapter 9, verse 12 has hand in it. And then if we go back down to our key, you'll find geographical locations are in a green highlight. And once you reach the highlights, if you notice, they still hold the color font still to be true to whatever it is. So Damascus is just a nice little black font because it's a normal word. Caesarea is in a blue font because those are one-time words. Joppa was a green word because it's a two-time word. And the proper names are highlighted in yellow. And here's a highlighted yellow name, Barnabas. That's in a blue font, so remember that's a one-time word. So that's the only time Barnabas is mentioned in all the verses of study. So hopefully this will help you understand these pages just a little bit more. There's also a little number at the end of every verse to let you know what verse number they're on. This is the 134th verse out of 276 verses they're learning, to let them know how far along they are. If there's a tournament that's through a particular verse, you can quickly find it there and let you know which one it is. Anyway, we are here to help, and thank you so much for watching the video. Please let us know if you have any questions.